I fucked up. Boruto's dad's games, I think, have the best average of good games out of all the shonen anime franchises. Yeah, there are some games that lack polish, but I wouldn't call many of them straight up bad. Take this game, Naruto the Dragon Tales, exclusive to the Wii. Now, it is considered to be a bad game. I would agree with that, but I don't know, man. I just, playing through it, I was kind of into it. It does have many issues, though. When you start the game, the first tutorial you're given is to use the action button, which is the C button. You use this button a lot. The C button. All of a sudden, the Leaf Village is attacked by generic rock monster things. Oh no! It's here we get our combat tutorials, and hey, I wasn't ready! We're then introduced to Akari, a new OC for this game who needs to meet with Tsunade. Naruto and Kakashi take her to her, and a dragon attacks. Okay. Normal jutsu can't hurt it, but the dragon blade that Akari's carrying can, and Naruto uses it to motion control his way to victory. After that, we get some exposition. Akari is here to get help to stop her Oni-chan, who is trying to use the power of all the 5 dragons of the elements so he can use the power of the light dragon, and take revenge on the world for treating him differently, because he was born different with horns on his head. Wait, he's just like Naruto. He's at a place called Mount Koryu. Its atmosphere renders chakra and ninjutsu useless, unless you wear all the special armor the characters have. So what's the point of even having that feature if they can just negate it with fashion? Naruto and the rest of Team 7, and Kakashi, go there with Akari to stop her brother, as well as save Neji, Rock Lee, and Shikamaru, who were sent there to scout the place. Wait, why Shikamaru with them? Where the hell's Tenten? How come the best characters in Naruto keep getting shafted? You all know it's true. And in a kinda sitcom fashion, other people are at Mount Koryu too. All the important people anyway, like the Akatsuki, including Deidara, Tobi, Kasame, and Itachi. And of course if Itachi's there, everyone's favorite edgelord Sasuke isn't far behind. Hey, this is Editing Brian in the future. I just wanted to point this out because I was getting the sound for the crawling video at Linkin Park, I was putting in for when Sasuke shows up on screen. And I think rather perfectly, the top comment on this video So yeah, we go there to save the world, the Akatsuki are there to gain power, and Sasuke's there to be emo. Sounds like a good recipe for a filler episode. Are these cutscenes still going on? I was expecting them to end so that I can talk about the gameplay or something, but it's still going. Okay, I guess I gotta find something else to talk about. Well, the voice acting. The game is fully voiced. They all do, okay. I mean, I'm not expecting stellar performances for a Wii Naruto game. As you can see, one of the annoying things about this game is they take a while to get to the point sometimes. Like in the tutorial, Kakashi tells me of a new way to use my chakra by somehow finding a way to use the Rasengan without creating shadow clones in order to preserve my chakra, as it will waste too much stamina. Which is a long way of saying tap the down button. Oh, jeez. Well, as you can see, despite being fully voiced, the cutscene direction is not great. The characters just stand around talking with no movement or interesting camera angles. Hey, just like the anime. There are also these weird pauses after each sentence that makes the pacing feel awkward.
We were already drifting. We are the last of the great nations that destroyed our clan.
Great nations?
Before the current nations were formed. Sins of the Father.
Well, while we wait for this to finish, I guess I can talk about what I remember about this game, since I'm clearly not playing it. Now, from what I remember, the gameplay wasn't really anything too special. You use the A button to attack and the D-pad on the Wiimote to do different jutsu. I thought it would be more like a hack-and-slash game, but it's more in the style of a beat-em-up. Unlike beat-em-ups, you can run past enemies, and I recommend it because there's no reason to fight them. The only time you're forced to do so is when you're locked in a room and have to beat them all before moving on, like a hack-and-slash game. They sometimes have reasons for you to kill them, like switches that take a while to activate, but the enemies mostly stood there, so it wasn't a problem. I did play the game on easy, so maybe they're more aggro on hard mode. I don't know, I'm not playing through this twice. As far as I can tell, there is no reason to fight unless you have to, because mashing A is only satisfying for 5 minutes, and you don't get any reward for killing an enemy. You don't get experience or money. The only thing they drop are food pills, which activate automatically for a few second power-up, and health and chakra regenerating orbs, which you would only need if you fight them at all, so why bother with step 1? Hell, you can heal yourself either with Sakura's assist skill or at save points. Yeah, you also have assists. Some are great, essentially screen clearing moves. Others suck, like Karen and Neji's, which will locate enemies. Yeah, they're right there, guys, I can easily see them. Chakra is used for your ninjutsu skills. You can find scrolls that allow you to use jutsu of different elements. Some are required in order to progress by using it to solve some puzzle or remove a hazard. Some of them you find by exploring, and they give you different effects like buffing your stats, or will just give you a new move like shadow clones that fight for you. You switch off between two characters, Naruto and the Giga Chad Sasuke. They thankfully play differently. I prefer Sasuke since he's more speedy with his movement, and I think his combos just look cooler. What sucks about playing as Sasuke though is you have to replay the same levels Naruto just did. It's not too bad since the segments are short, but it makes everything blend together and less memorable when you're forced to replay them. The levels, exploration, isn't really exploration. You just keep going through the level until you get the jutsu that lets you proceed by solving some puzzle or getting rid of some hazard, like I said earlier. You follow a linear path until you open a chest that has a scroll you need. That's not really exploration. Then you backtrack through the level again to get to that point, to use the jutsu, and then you proceed. It's more of pseudo-exploration. It makes you feel like you're wandering around and exploring, but you're really following the script the devs set up already. There aren't many stages either, not counting the Leaf Village, which is a tutorial section, and the Great Hall at the end, which is barely a stage, and both last like 10 minutes. There are 4 actual levels. They are long, each one took me, I want to say 40 minutes to an hour. Unfortunately, this gives the feeling that stages go on forever. Aiding to that are the enemy variety. You will go through every enemy type in the first level. As you go on, they only change color and get more health, with no other differences. One thing I really hate in this game is the platforming. Anyone who's played a 3D or 2D platformer will tell you the controls need to be tight so you can land on platforms with precision. Here the jumping carries momentum, even when you let go of the joystick, which is great for feeling the speed of a ninja, but shit when you have to do precise platforming. And when you fall down a bottomless pit, you die. Yeah, you straight up die, you have to do the room again. Why have a punishment that harsh with controls this slippery? The worst example is the Data boss fight. He plants explosives on the floor so when you touch it, you explode. And the platforms are so small, with these controls, I fell down all the time. Thankfully they didn't do too much damage. Boss battles in general are not that great. Each of the dragons boil down to run around for a while until an animation finishes, and or wait for an animation to finish until you can attack. Then use the element jutsu they're weak against, which you find in their level, and they die in like 2 minutes. Don't believe me? Well, you will when you have to fight 2 of them again, as Sasuke, and you just do the exact same thing. The other bosses are the Akatsuki, who are equally lame. I already talked about Dataro. The ones against Itachi go, he teleports, you hit him, he teleports, you hit him. They're like stuff. I can't really comment on Kisame because when I fought him, I just stun locked him the entire time, so I never really saw what he could do. He was just that easy to me, I guess. After beating all the dragons, you make it to the last hall of the game. You go down and opening doors with the Dragon Blade orbs, and in each room you have to move some boxes onto a switch. This section isn't that bad, except for the final room. Here they just shoved all the annoying enemies on these short platforms so you can't dodge them. It would be useless anyway because the dodge sucks. Let me explain. How most video games work is that at all times your character has what's called a hitbox. If another object with a property to interact with your hitbox does so, an effect triggers like you take damage. Dodging moves or abilities in video games usually give you an invulnerable state, or during the animation your hitbox disappears so you can't be hit, and then reappears once the animation is over. In this game, during the dodging animation, your hitbox stays. You're essentially just moving at a faster speed. So if you're in a room with multiple enemies, and you dodge one, another can hit you instantly. In a game that's supposed to be a high-speed action platformer, the dodge not being invulnerable leads you to get hit a lot, and you die a lot. But you better get used to it because the boss against Oni-chan is some bullshit. His moves do so much damage and they track you, so if you haven't mastered how his dodge works, you're gonna die a lot. Midway through the fight, Sasuke shows up. And then after the fight, he leaves out of the game. Bye, Sasuke. Nissan bodies everyone, and Naruto of course unleashes his 9-tailed fox to beat him. And to get himself under control, you have a boss fight against him, which is just a copy of the Fire Dragon's boss fight where he launches you back, and then you have to run back to him so you can hit him. This is the 3rd time I've done a fight like this. And ultimately, these are just ripoffs of the dragon fight from Sonic and the Black Knight. I hate that I recognize that. But man, let me tell you, the last fight against the Light Dragon, it's actually a pretty good boss fight. Unlike other fights, you can attack it at any time, so the strategy is dodging its attacks until you get a chance to attack of your own volition, instead of waiting for an animation to finish and being bored. Definitely the best boss in the game. You beat the Light Dragon and the day is saved. That was Naruto the Dragon Tail Chronicles. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. In the beginning you say you like this game, but the entire time you just shit on it. Yeah, well, I can like things that are just not good, you know? It's what I like, who cares? Like, I think people have this weird idea that when looking at a piece of media, you can only like something if it's 100% perfect. It has to have no flaws whatsoever. But you know what? Sometimes the things you like suck, and you gotta admit it. But if you like it, who gives a shit what anyone says? I realize I'm saying that to the internet. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to say to that. I just realized that. Yeah, it has a lot of problems, and I wouldn't really call it a good game, but I don't really consider it to be a bad game because while it did have a lot of negatives, while playing through it, I had a fun time. I wasn't bored, I didn't feel like not playing the game at one point. It was just a fun Naruto game for a couple hours. And you know, at the end of the day, if you had fun playing a video game, doesn't that make it good? Some things I think are really good about this game is the art style and graphics. The cell shading is amazing, and the game in general looks really good for the Wii. The story, I didn't really focus on it, but I actually really liked it. It's not the greatest Naruto story ever told, but for an original video game plot, I found it enjoyable. Also, the music's pretty kick-ass. It's a short game too, it took me about 4 hours. I did skip a lot of enemies, but since it's a pretty mindless button-mashing action game, I think it was the perfect length and didn't overstay its welcome. Honestly, if you're a fan of Naruto and happen to own a Wii, if you're in that weird diagram, then check this game out. I think it's a fun button basher to just turn your brain off and mash A for a while. There is also a 2-player mode, which I can't comment on because every time I asked someone to play Naruto the Dragon Blade Chronicles with me, they just laughed in my face and walked away. I'm gonna go look at Tsunade porn now.
Don't forget to subscribe!
Even if we do defeat him, it won't change anything. Akari, are you really fine with losing your brother?
But he has to be stopped from destroying the world. There's no other way.
That's not true.
Huh?
I'm sure that your brother is alone, and just lonely, too. I used to be all alone, too. No one would talk to me, and the way they looked at me only hurt me more.
The pain of being alone.
But then I thought, why am I the only one suffering like this? Then, I started glaring right back at everyone else.
Naruto.
I can't really explain it that well, but I think your brother's just like how I used to be. He's angry at everyone else right now. So, I'm sure he'll come to understand too.
Will my brother even listen though?
Your brother is important to you, right?
He's all I have. He is precious to me.
Then, we gotta save him for sure.
Yes.
I didn't expect the topic to shift to saving someone we're supposed to kill. Lady Tsunade, please tell us more about the mission.
Akari will be accompanying you as your guide. She requested this herself. I'll also give you versions of the special equipment for those you'll be needing. While inside Mount Koryu, you can use ninjutsu with scrolls we will provide. In other words, it will be very difficult to use ninjutsu without equipment.
Does that mean we'll have to mainly rely on taijutsu? There is one effective method, though. Naruto. This Earth Dragon Orb was created from the Earth Genryu's shining scale. Please try inserting this in the Dragon Blade.
What happened?
This will allow the Dragon Blade to have an Earth element. I don't know how effective it will be,
Naruto, I'm going to give you a map of Mount Koryu. It's old, but it should give you a basic grasp of where things are located.
I'd like you to get going. Above all, be careful.
You got it!
Go!
Don't get all nervous.
You say that, Deidara, but isn't there a big, scary monster in there?
How should I know? Whatever we face, my art explosions will kill it.
But I mean, you know how monsters are. With their super stretchy arms and how they can live with their heads cut off. That's just way too scary.
Are you talking about Kakuzu and Hideo?
Am I? Now that you mention it, I think I am. Wow, if I think about it like that, the Akatsuki's like a group of monsters. Oh. Anyway, weren't Itachi and Kisame in charge of capturing the Genryu?
Yeah, that's right. But even so, I don't like letting them have all the fun.
We shouldn't be sticking our heads into other people's business, though. Isn't it that you're just bored and...
Stop blabbering and hurry up. Get going.
Oh, okay. Wait, you're not coming, Deidara?
I'll look for a different entrance. There has to be someplace more artistic.
Oh, come on. You keep talking, but I bet you're as scared as me.
Toby, I've decided what I'll be exploding first.
Already? But there's nothing in particular over there.
I'm talking about you, you dumb bastard!
These little C3 are huge. Wait, what's with these?
You can take that place!
Those tremors felt like an explosion. It seems Deidara and Toby have followed us. Couldn't you have turned down this job?
It's too much for Deidara to handle alone.
You don't think Toby will help at all? Harsh. Something wrong?
No. Let's go. Before we capture them, we need to confirm the Genryu's locations.
You're rather cautious. Understood.
Mount Koryu. That's the same information I got.
My information came from the birds. It could never be false.
I've been saying that that was the place from the very beginning.
Yeah, but your sources are suspicious.
What? Your sources are way more suspicious than mine. Sasuke asked Jugo too because he didn't trust yours.
See? He didn't trust yours either.
Sugetsu, you little...
Stop it, both of you. All three of you have the same result. Akatsuki is going to Mount Koryu.
The animals told me where that is, too.
All right. From now on, Hebi is going to Mount Koryu to find Itachi.
This isn't what I expected to see.
They said the world's energy was being drained. I thought it would look worse. The Genryu were originally beings who fertilized the Tatsushiro clan's land. This place could be the last remnant of that land.
Does that mean that it's as terrible as we'd imagined in other places?
As far as I know.
Here comes. Big ones, too.
Are those blue gonghe? They're much larger than the ones in the village.
No problem. Dragonblade was able to defeat one that was a lot bigger.
They're probably on patrol.
Sakura, take Akari and get some distance from here. Sai, guard the perimeter around them.
Got it.
Sorry, stay with me, okay?
Yes.
You're still here?